I've got James Carafano, foreign affairs expert, with me still. James, it looks to me like the authority of Xi Jinping, the Beijing authorities, under pressure at the moment because they've got to deal with this. They've got to contain it, and they've got to be open and overt. For example, do you believe all that's coming out of China and their coverage of this virus?
Yeah. First thing I would say is buy. I think in the end, this is actually going to be good for the West and good for markets. But they did a horrible job on SARS. They're doing better than they did on SARS. This isn't saying much. They've pretty much bungled this so far. And in terms of hurting the Chinese brand, Hong Kong, the way they responded to Taiwan, the other complaints, this does not help Xi. It doesn't help the Chinese. But here's a tipping point from a perspective is if you see cases in other countries, people not getting sick who are in China, but people just getting sick who never went or anywhere near China, then you would start to worry. But right now we're seeing isolated cases of people who've been directly exposed there. So the global health issue is just mostly fear that will play out. On the markets, look, people are going to shift their supply chains. People are going to move around, and that'll actually in any way, I think, show the resilience of the market. And I think in terms of people doing business in China, it's just more red flags about the dangers of doing business in China. So, yeah, maybe bad for the markets today, but you could see, since the global economy is actually in the U.S. is doing so well, you could see where in the long term, this might actually be okay for us.
All right, let me switch gears and go to the stock market now. Lauren Simonetti is there, and she's watching Luckin Coffee and Starbucks. They both have big operations in China, right?
Absolutely. Luckin is the Starbucks of China, if you will. Starbucks obviously has many stores, thousands of stores in China. Luckin has 4,200. But look at this decline. Luckin is down 7.5% because of these fears that if you go outside, if you're in contact with other people, you could contract this deadly virus. So we are seeing the trickle-down effect throughout many of the food stores and the restaurant sector today.
The story that you're talking about here is very important because of the overall strength and of the Chinese economy.
Yeah.
If you've got all these fast food outlets, all these restaurants, all these travel companies really slowing things down, you're going to have a slowdown in China's economy because we can't quantify it. But I suspect that is the big reason why our market is down so much, because it's going to take a chunk out of China, right?
Yeah, and everybody is, paralleling back in 2003 with the SARS virus and how long or short, however you look at it, took about 2 months for many of these companies to recover. But this is 17 years later, and China is such a bigger economy now than it was then. So when you look at Disney closing its Shanghai theme park, and you look at McDonald's and Yum Brands, which does so much business in China, and them closing stores, this will have an effect on the global economy, at least temporarily, Stuart.
Okay, Lauren, thank you very much indeed. And James Carafano, thanks also for joining us this morning on a big day. Appreciate it, both of you.